Welcome to IRAQI Dinar News, where you receive real and authentic updates about the IRAQI dinar. If you want to stay informed with moment-by-moment developments, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. In today's discussion, we are analyzing a circulating claim that has recently gained attention among IRAQI dinar followers. The statement suggests that a so-called bond paymaster associated with a major international bank believes that developments are right around the corner, with a specific expectation that notifications could occur within a very short time frame, potentially within a matter of days. There is also mention of another unnamed contact reinforcing this timeline, pointing toward a window before the end of the week. Now, as with any such claim, especially one tied to precise dates and insider language, it is important to step back and approach the situation with a structured, evidence-based perspective. Financial markets, particularly currency markets, do not typically operate on informal signals or unofficial timelines. Instead, they are driven by macroeconomic fundamentals, institutional decision-making, and transparent policy actions from central banks and governments. Let's begin by breaking down what is actually being suggested here. The statement refers to a bond paymaster, which in traditional financial terminology would relate to an entity or individual responsible for administering payments related to bonds. However, in the context of IRAQI dinar speculation, this term is often used loosely and does not correspond to any publicly verified or officially recognized role tied to currency revaluation processes. There is no formal mechanism in global finance where a bond paymaster independently signals or initiates a sovereign currency adjustment. The mention of a major international bank also deserves careful interpretation. Large banks do play a role in global financial flows, including facilitating transactions, managing reserves, and participating in bond markets. However, they do not have the authority to determine or announce changes in a country's exchange rate. That responsibility lies solely with the country's central bank, in this case the Central Bank of Iraq, often in coordination with government fiscal authorities, and in some cases, international institutions such as the International Monetary Fund. The claim further emphasizes a very narrow time frame, suggesting that notifications could occur on specific days within a given week. This is where it becomes particularly important to apply critical analysis. Historically, when central banks make significant policy changes, especially those involving exchange rates, they communicate through official channels. These announcements are typically accompanied by formal statements, policy documents, or press releases. They are not preceded by informal notifications circulating through private contacts or unofficial networks. From a short-term perspective, what does this mean for IRAQI dinar followers? It means that while such claims can generate excitement, they should not be interpreted as confirmed or actionable information. The Iraqi economy is currently navigating a complex set of challenges and reforms, including efforts to stabilize inflation, manage foreign reserves, improve banking sector transparency, and align with international financial standards. These are gradual processes that require time, coordination, and policy consistency. Short-term exchange rate stability is often a priority for emerging economies, particularly those that rely heavily on oil revenues, as Iraq does. Sudden or dramatic changes to the currency can introduce volatility, disrupt trade, and create uncertainty in both domestic and international markets. As a result, central banks tend to move cautiously, ensuring that any adjustments are supported by strong economic fundamentals. In the longer term, the outlook for the IRAQI dinar is tied closely to broader structural developments within the country. These include diversification of the economy beyond oil, improvements in governance and transparency, strengthening of the financial sector, and continued engagement with global financial institutions. Progress in these areas can enhance investor confidence and support currency stability over time. It is also important to address the psychological aspect of these types of narratives. Statements that suggest something is right around the corner or tied to a specific imminent date can create a sense of urgency. This urgency can sometimes lead individuals to make decisions based on emotion rather than analysis. In financial markets, maintaining discipline and relying on verified information is essential. Another key point to consider is the absence of corroborating evidence. In credible financial reporting, significant claims are typically supported by multiple independent sources, official confirmations, or verifiable data. In this case, the information appears to be based on anonymous contacts and informal communication, which makes it difficult to assess its reliability. That does not mean that developments are not happening within Iraq's financial system. On the contrary, there are ongoing reforms and policy discussions that could influence the country's economic trajectory. However, these developments are usually communicated through official channels and unfold over a longer time frame than what is suggested in the claim. For viewers following the Iraqi dinar, the most practical approach is to focus on measurable indicators. These include central bank announcements, changes in monetary policy, foreign reserve levels, inflation trends, and updates from international financial institutions. These factors provide a more accurate and reliable picture of where the currency may be headed. It is also worth noting that currency revaluations, when they do occur, are rarely sudden or isolated events. They are typically the result of sustained economic improvement and policy alignment. In many cases, they are part of broader exchange rate regimes or adjustments that are carefully managed to avoid market disruption. In the context of Iraq, any significant change to the exchange rate would likely be part of a comprehensive strategy involving multiple stakeholders. This would include not only the Central Bank of Iraq, but also government ministries, international partners, and financial institutions. Such a process would be communicated clearly and transparently to ensure market stability. As we look at the broader picture, it becomes clear that while short-term speculation can be compelling, it is the long-term fundamentals that ultimately drive currency value. Iraq's potential lies in its natural resources, strategic location, and ongoing efforts to modernize its economy. These are the factors that will shape the future of the dinar, rather than unverified timelines or informal predictions. In conclusion, the claim we analyzed today highlights the importance of distinguishing between speculation and substantiated information. While the idea of imminent developments may be appealing, there is currently no official confirmation to support the specific timeline mentioned. As always, it is essential to rely on credible sources and maintain a balanced perspective. If you want to stay updated with responsible, fact-based analysis of Iraqi dinar developments, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. And as a final reminder, this content is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial advice.